and it should be live streaming right now.
Okay.
It is.
It is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. The first thing I'd like to do is ask if anyone would like to add anything to the agenda. No? Okay. Then the second thing is I'd like to approve the consent agenda. So if I could get a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the meeting minutes from 2/24, pending gifts, statistical reports, I think the plan to reopen, etc.
I move all those things.
Okay, great. And we're going to have to do a roll call vote on that real quickly. Chris?
Aye.
Emily's still not with us, right?
She is with us.
She is with us now. Okay, so, yep. Okay, so Emily?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Barbara?
Aye.
Sharon?
Aye.
Okay, Brent?
Aye.
Garrett's not with us. Janet?
Aye.
And Gail?
Aye.
Okay, so we can jump right in then. We've gotten everything covered there. Public comment period. I don't show any public comment, but is there anyone who's listening in who wants to say anything? No. Okay, then we'll move right on in to the various reports. I think Ruth is not with us today. She's got a conflict, and that Clay is going to cover that for her. Clay?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Do the library fence report. Thank you.
okay. So the Friends Board met the first Wednesday of this month, the 3rd, and this was when they approved their budget for the 21-22. Their fiscal year begins earlier than the typical July 1st date. And this year, I think we've been informed the board last month that we weren't asking for our normal gift, which we allot to some different programs, summer reading program, teen programming, poetry programs, a number of different things. So this year we didn't ask for that specifically because we were unable to spend those funds in 2020 for all the obvious reasons, unfortunately. So we wanted to do that instead of having to ask them to dip into some of their savings and just wait till they can have more income through their book sales. And they are planning to have a curated members only sale perhaps in June. They're looking at maybe doing it out in Library Park. That's the one thing. Barbara was able to make it to the meeting, and I just want to say we appreciated her being there. That was the bulk of this month's meeting, was discussing those budget issues that look a little differently this year. For instance, they'd normally have out of their spring sale, they would be expecting $15,000. They would budget that in, and they had neither a spring nor fall sale this past year. So they're looking conservatively at possibly raising about $6,000 with this summer sale, and then the hope is that they can continue in the fall, get back on track with their normal signature fundraisers. That's basically the bulk of this month's. They're going to wait to have their annual meeting till they can meet in person. They do have a few spots to fill. Deanna Chavez has stepped down from the board.
Did we lose Clay, or is that just me?
We lost him.
Okay.
Let's Clay.
Let's see if he comes back in a second here or not.
Come back, Clay.
I got zapped entirely. Anyway, I, for whatever reasons, I was completely knocked out. But anyway, that was all I had to report there.
Okay.
They've just adapted to the circumstances and are moving forward.
Okay, great. Any questions for Clay about the Friends? No. Okay, well, we're going to jump right in. Scott, did you want to introduce Susan? We've got our, I see Susan's on here, our new foundation
Great.
sort of do all everything person with us. So,
So yeah, let me introduce you to Susan Revere. She comes to us. She's been in Richmond a long time. I'm not going to steal her story, but from a nonprofit she founded and ran for the last about 15 years. And I believe I shared her bio with you and a picture. Did you all get that email last week?
Yes.
we did.
Super. Susan, do you want to say a few words or? Welcome.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I'm excited to meet everyone, hopefully in person at some date in the not too distant future. Until then, I'm here if you need me. Thank you very much, everybody.
Susan's been very busy trying to determine where everything's at, learn new software. John has been handing her a bunch of the stuff that she's been helping us put together. She's had a meeting with Rich Peterson, who's the treasurer of the foundation, and he's helping to bring her up to speed. We're getting her name transferred over to the accounts. So all that banking stuff, a lot of the setup stuff is what we've been working on. So we're still, it's always a challenge when you become a new employee because you have to figure out where everything's at. And but she's been doing a great job, and we're really excited to have her. And we've got a lot of work to do, and I have no doubt that Susan's going to do a great job for us.
Welcome, Susan. We're happy you're on board.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I can't wait. I can't wait to get together and see everybody.
We can't either.
It should be soon. It should be soon. And Susan, I want to tell you that I mentioned you to my younger son, and he said, "Oh, I remember Ms. Revere back when he did the Cochrane Institute at Collegiate. You and Ms. Melton, apparently." He said, "Good memories."
Absolutely. That was a great partnership. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, we had 6 teams headed out into various neighborhoods to build wheelchair ramps over the course of a day. So we made them all sweat. It was a great experience.
That's right. Okay, well, Scott, did you want to give the foundation report then?
So we had our regular meeting about 2 weeks ago. I think Emily was also on the call. Mainly just recapped where we were at. I wasn't able to introduce Susan to that group at the time because she wasn't on board yet. We were still trying to get her through the system and onboarded. But the next meeting we will be able to do that. I mainly provided an update to the foundation on terms of where we were at with the master plan. And that was the report I gave you last month that we had awarded at the Steinberg Hart, and they were excited about that. And really a discussion about the 100-year anniversary and kind of goals and objectives. They would like to have a 3-board kind of convention in the fall when we can get back together in person. And I think that will be right on time, because by that time we should be through our master plan and be able to start have an idea of what a development plan or a capital campaign could look like from that. And we'll be getting closer to kicking off our centennial. And I think it'll be just a great opportunity for the Friends, the foundation, and the Library Board of Trustees to come together and talk about our shared mission and how we want to go about doing that. So look for that to happen in the fall. So pretty much where we're at right now.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Yeah, I think that that is one of the things that was sort of on our agenda to just lightly touch on, that we are going to have that in September, and we want to have as much involved as we can with everyone. I'll send out a little info on what the foundation has for an agenda, and ask for your thoughts on it, and also for any dates that do not work for y'all in September. So, okay. Scott, did you want to jump into your administration report?
Yeah, I'll be fairly brief. I mean, I'm so pleased that you all got the packet of information that had the kind of the digested version of the master plan, and you got a Ripple mask. Thank Jonna for that. I think we'll all wear those with pride. I hope Gail finally got her. Did you finally get your mail?
I did yesterday.
Super. You know, we've been pretty busy with kind of just maintaining operations. One of the things is notary is always a big thing. And recently, Jonna helped the Department on Aging with some notarizations out in the community. So she went out and actually went above and beyond and did some notaries out there.
Yeah, Scott, I'm going to interrupt real quickly on that to say that Jonna did a great job. I had a need for, my mother-in-law actually had a need for something notarized and was terrified of going into her bank because she hadn't been vaccinated yet and so on. And she's got some health issues. And Jonna came down and did a curbside notarization for her. So once again, the curbside has worked well in a lot of ways here. So anyway, I just want to give Jonna credit for that. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, and our notaries across the board have done a wonderful job helping people with notarizations. I mean, I don't think there's a branch where we don't have a notary who takes it seriously, because when you need a notary, you really need a notary, and they're kind of hard to find. And so that's a service that's been at times kind of frightening for our folks to do, because, you know, that's an in-depth personal transaction. But if we can do it outside or can do it quickly and safely, our notaries have stepped up to do that. And that's something that not a lot of people realize that we do. And one of the things that I want to bring to your attention on page 10 of the board report, there's a kind of a breakdown of all of the services that our branches have been doing over curbside. So you can kind of see what's taking place. We're counting those transactions in a little bit more detail to try and demonstrate, you know, we're not only doing books and virtual programs and story times and book kits, but we're also doing all these other things, distributing masks, distributing holds, photocopying, faxing, and notaries. So I know it's a little granular, but I think it's important that everybody sees what we're doing, because I think some people just think, well, they're just books and, you know, what are they doing? So I think that's helpful. And then last but not least, we were able to send out kind of a quick overview of the reopening plan. I don't know if you all had a chance to review that, but simply our goal, what we would like to do is reopen on April 5th and reopen with limited access in terms of capacity inside the building and time period. So everyone will be required to wear masks. We'll be doing temperature checks and contact tracing, so listing people. And in our branches, we want to kind of limit the time to about a half an hour and maybe 6 people. And at main library, it would be 20 people and an hour. And patrons would be able to come in and access the computer and also browse for books. Those are the 2 things that people have been really eager to have restored. And we feel like we can do that in a safe way, maintain many of our current mitigation protocols and services, and start executing that. Meeting rooms would still be closed. Furniture, a lot of the seating would still be off the floor, but people would be able to come in quickly, grab and go, and then start accessing their libraries.
And Scott, you can comfortably do that with curbside. That doesn't create any issues, right?
So in our branches, we'll probably maintain curbside where we have the capacity and the staffing. At Maine, we'll probably discontinue curbside for now, and we have enough area inside of Maine where people can kind of safely distance and come in and pick up holds.
Sure.
But that's our plan. We're trying to be as similar across the board, but in some circumstances, we may have a little bit of differences in terms of our branches, you know, numbers and capacity. But, you know, we're hoping to do at least 6 in some of our small branches, because our branches are very small, and Maine's a little bit bigger. So believe that kind of addresses all of it. So that in that sheet I sent you, there's frequently asked questions and kind of the outline of what we're doing. We'll hold the hours that we're doing now because we have the staff that we can maintain it for now. I don't think we can start restoring the hours to where we were before the pandemic with longer evening hours and Sundays. Again, we're going to have to see how our budget goes. But for now, let's just get open. What I was hoping is that we could just get open with what we have and see how it goes. And then constantly just kind of keep assessing and making changes if we have to.
Okay, excellent. Scott, anything else you wanted to report on? No? Okay, then.
That's it.
Before
I just have
Scott
one
moves
question.
on, could I just say that breakdown of the curbside services is good information for city council if you chat with your member?
Scott, I just wanted to ask, you said you sent the information about the reopening. Was it sent as an email form? How did we, because I don't have it. I didn't get that.
We sent it an email just before the meeting, Barbara. So
Okay.
you should have it in
It came
email.
in 11
It's a
o'clock.
PDF. Do you want me to
Okay.
pull it up? Do you want me to pull it up and show y'all or?
No. I just wanted to read it and I just didn't see it. So that's fine. If I got it, that's good. I'll
I'm
check it
sorry.
out.
I'm sorry. So last minute, we've been pretty crazy this week.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and the third page of that is apparently attached by error, I'm assuming, Scott, the collection information page.
Oh, that actually is an error, but it's a document that's part of our the master planning process. The architects have asked us to go through our collection and start counting linear feet of books and different genres. So you can get an idea from that document of what we're being tasked to do. So that was an example that they sent us. So I'm glad you see it. I'm glad it wasn't something like a bill or something.
Scott, I read, what you sent out, and you talk about the protocols and that everyone should come in should have a mask. Okay, things are getting a little crazy now, and some people are refusing to wear masks. I'm concerned about the safety of, the library employees. If someone comes in and refuses to put on a mask, have they been issued any guidance on what to say, what to do? Call the police, ask them nicely, give them a sheet of paper saying this is our policy, or what?
Yeah, I shared a document recently with our management team. I mean, weekly we have a COVID-19 call where we discuss operations and challenges with this whole crisis, right? But the way we handle it is the way we're going to handle it is the way we would handle any sort of disruptive behavior in the library. We'll approach the patron, politely remind them of the policy and ask them to wear a mask. And if they don't have a mask, we'll provide them with a mask. And hopefully they'll comply. If they don't comply, then we're going to have to ask them to leave. And if it escalates, then we will have to take further action. 9.99% of the time, it doesn't go further than that. But, where it does escalate, we'll have to lean on security where we have it. And also we have no problem contacting the police department, and having them come. Usually it does not escalate to that point, but we'll see. When we opened last time, we had issues with people, the mask slides down, it becomes a chin strap, or it becomes a blindfold. So hopefully, I think it's going to get better, but that is going to be a challenge.
Okay, I just want to make sure all the employees are on the same page and not putting themselves in any risk, by saying
Absolutely.
something that might trigger something.
Right. I mean, and when we crafted these reopening guidelines, we really did so with intention and thought to avoid conflict. I always want to avoid conflict at the desk. I always want us to work from what we can do for people instead of what we can't do, and how we go about getting to that point. And many of our staff understand that, and we're pretty good at handling that stuff. I am not going to say that we don't have people who are who challenge us on that, but for the most part, we do a pretty good job, and we are prepared for that.
And Scott, let me ask you to give maybe, tying in with that, sort of an update on where we are with vaccines on staff.
What I'm hearing from most of my managers is that many people are getting vaccinated. I would say the majority of our staff are getting vaccinated. And it's been interesting to see, it's been kind of all over the board about how they sign up. We've been asking them to qualify themselves as a continuity of government person, which is what the city has been advocating us to approve us to do. And that has helped us get more people into vaccine. I think across the board, I would say we're getting more and more people who are vaccinated. Many people who've gotten their first shot. I have people that are signed up to go in the next couple of weeks. And that's why an extra week, April 5th may give us more time to get more vaccine for people. So yeah, I'm hoping by the end of April that we have almost the majority of our staff vaccinated. There may be some staff who do not wish to take the opportunity to get the vaccine, and I can understand that. That's why we're still going to have to be wearing our masks and all the mitigation protocols in place. I'm begging and pleading with them to do that, because I think it's a life-saving measure, and I'm trying to stress that with them. But I understand also if they don't want to get the shot, and I can't compel them to do that, and I also we can't take any action against them. So, and we have to be supportive of that personal decision.
Yeah.
Scott, I have one question. In terms of I know that we have a budget line for security. How many of the branches actually have on-site security?
Mainly that we send security where it's most where it's most need. So we have a security person at North Avenue, at East End, and Whole Street and Main Library. I don't know if we'll come to a day when we have security everywhere. Some of it is a bit of a concern, because we don't have a lot of space because you have to give a security person a post and a place to be present, and it's very expensive. But currently that's where we're at now. And then, if we have circumstances that, occasionally we'll have a patron who's a problem patron in a location, and we have an incident with them and we're concerned about safety, we will send a security guard there and post them there for a certain time period, just to kind of clear the problem. And then, month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it takes to kind of get past and build that confidence back. And we've done that in many circumstances, and that usually is a good solution. I'm hoping that our social worker will return as soon as we open up, because he's eager to get back on site and provide the connective services that he does. So Rex is ready to return, and I'm hoping that as we kind of open up more, that we have him back in place. And he's been that's been a big help to us, because he can really operate and navigate with people who maybe are reluctant to seek help or didn't even know there was help available. So,
yeah, I think he's important in a lot of ways. One of them, Scott, is obviously the biggest thing, is that he does know how to get things done more than others. I think the other thing is that it helps our librarians, lets them stay focused a little bit on the librarian position that they're trained for and that they love doing. So it's a win-win for everyone in the community, I think, on that.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else for Scott on the admin report side of things? Everyone got a chance to look through the packet, I guess. So I guess we're good there. I'm going to move on to the board committee reports. Mr. Chairman, I don't have a lot to say today. I think that I'm real pleased that we are starting to see some light as far as possibly being able to meet in person, which will let us start looking at the strategic plan a bit more. That the finance and facilities committees have both had Zoom meetings recently, and I was able to sit in on both of those just from sort of a listen-only perspective. And I just feel great about the teams that we have on those and what's coming from them. I'll let the chair people talk about them in a minute. I think the opening, as Scott said, we had been planning to try to open next Monday. We pushed it back to Easter Monday just to give a little time to get everything fully ready The positivity rates are very good. By the time we open, the vast majority of our employees should have at least had their first shot a week or so before that. So we'll have some protection for them there. And in many cases, the ones who haven't are either in a real safe category, unlikely to cause a big problem health-wise, or they are ones who've decided not to for whatever reason that I won't go into because I don't understand it. Anyway, so I think I'd like to just jump right in now, if we could, to the Finance Committee. And Chris, I'm going to ask you to also touch on with this what we should be saying to our city council people and others as the budget goes forward. I think you had that one really well defined yesterday in the meeting. So Chris, I'm going to toss it to you.
Right, 200 years of Zooming and I keep forgetting to unmute myself. So we met yesterday and this was quite frankly a big help to me. Scott had brought all of the numbers to the table. Many of you have already reached out to your council people. I know Gail and I share a council person and she is miles ahead of me. But the numbers have come out from the mayor's budget and the library has a firm number. It's just over $6 million. And it again is 9% less than we need, than we've had in past years. And it's particularly hobbling in personnel and in books and collections. As we go through the number package, we see, for example, in the past 2 years, we've had close to $300,000 spent for part-time employees. This year, the mayor has put in $177K. So that's $125,000 less than what we need in part-time staff. So there's some urgency in a number of these areas. Budgets have just started to kick off. And as we discussed in our meeting, it really is a zero sums game for these councilmen. It's got to come out even. If they're going to up us 9%, somebody else has got to take the hit. So we have to make a compelling case. And Scott has given us all of the information, both in numbers, in major policy changes, and in personal stories that I think we should each be ready to talk to our council people. If you're not comfortable talking about the numbers, talk to Barbara, myself, or to Garrett, or to Bill, or to Scott, and we will quickly or slowly, whatever works, get you familiar with the numbers to go forward. The other thing I'll say is we have to fight for the 9% increase, but we also have to stay alert to a million other opportunities that came about in the America Cares Act, both with additional money for the state and additional money for the city. We need to make sure our council people know the library is ready to spend it to make our city better. What did I forget, Bill? Barbara, what did I forget?
I think you covered it all.
Yeah,
checking my notes from yesterday.
I think you did an excellent job. I would reiterate that 9%. I think that's the number that Chris, you're going to when you talk to people, say we really need that 9%.
Right.
And that I think the actual shortage on the part-timers probably comes out closer to 150 from what Scott was looking for. So it's even a little more than the 1 1/4.
It's even worse, yeah.
It's a little bit more even on that. And the council looks at it, not to get into the weeds on this, there is a line item in there of about 400,000 in personnel that is somewhat deceptive. If you look at it, you think, oh, they've done pretty well by us. that 400,000 is not something that we can necessarily use to fill positions or that we can use for the part-time people. That it's more of a bringing people up to certain levels, and we're not sure exactly how they're going to have us use that. But if the council people say, oh, well, we threw 400,000 in, no, we can't really use that. So we really do need the 9% from them. And then the final thing I'll say before throwing things over to facilities, because it ties very directly with it, as Chris said on the CARES Act, lots of money coming down the pipe, and we're hopeful of grabbing some of it. We are not able to put anything in this year from the capital improvement direction, because the city has taken so long getting our strategic plan RFP out there that we don't have numbers as to what it's going to cost to renovate Maine, what it's going to cost to do things. There's a small amount, I guess, in there for some maintenance type things, but nothing real big. So we are working hard to try to get some numbers together that will get us there. And the strategic plan folks, we hope, not strategic plan, the facilities plan people, we hope will give us something that before the CARES Act money runs out in the second year, that we can get in there with some claim to some of that. And maybe as they look at this big infrastructure, $3 trillion infrastructure plan being talked about in the feds, then maybe we can get some money for that. So that doesn't show anywhere in finance, because there's just nothing to show in finance right now on it. Chris, I think that's a great summary. Janet, shall you jump in for facilities and give us the report?
Sure, we had an exciting meeting on Monday. The facilities committee is Gail and Brent, Sharon, and me. So we met on Monday with Scott. Bill was there for part of it. And Scott showed us the very ambitious schedule to get us from right now to a master plan approval in July, in mid-July. So it's very ambitious, and there'll be a lot going on. Scott suggested that the committee people have two roles, action or advisory. So the way we broke that down, Gail and I are action figures, and Brent and Sharon are advisory figures. And I'm going to have to get Scott to say more about what those roles are. But so the next date to think about is April 7th, when there's a kickoff workshop, virtual, and where the Steinberg Hart will kind of go through with us what's going to happen. And I think Scott said anybody could participate or listen in on that meeting. So Scott, did everybody get this schedule that you sent to our committee?
I'm not sure that everybody has. I can send that. It's a schedule with action items and dates tied to them, and it outlines how the process will go forward. So I can send that out to y'all. It was something I got late and I distributed it to the facilities committee, but I'll share it with the rest of you. Some of the dates are coming up, and so it shows you when they'll have in-person meetings and community-focused meetings, and what their goals and objectives are and what their deliverables are. So that's helpful for everybody to see as we go forward. So I'll share that with you all. Okay. I'll send it out after, and I'll probably put it in our board packet for next month.
Okay. So Scott, do you want to say anything about action and advisory roles?
Well, advisory roles, everybody on this group has an advisory role in this. I want all of you to have an opportunity to see what we're doing, share your ideas, gather feedback from your communities, and bring those forward, because what we're going to be doing is designing our main library for the next 50 years or 100 years. And so the most important thing that we're doing is listening to our community and coming up with a design that's going to reflect those needs and wants. So that's really all of our tasks. For advisory role for the facilities committee, those folks need to be overseen and watching. The action people will be involved in probably some of the extra meetings other than the community meetings and other advisory meetings. So that's kind of the breakdown. I want to try and keep that action committee a little bit smaller so that we can make decisions, but the action committee needs to be one of those people who's a reporter and a listener and bringing back information to help inform the architects who are involved in the process. And we'll also have somebody from Dexter Good from Special Projects. He's been our main point of contact with getting things done in the city. He has a long history with us, and he really represents the city side of things and how the policy and practice of the city will go forward. So, and Cheryl will be on the action team. Clay will be on the action team. And so we're still I'm kind of finishing that one out, but all of us will be a part of the advisory team. And we really want to try and gather as much input as we can from the community, because I think the best plans come from that sort of process. So
I might mention that I don't want it to sound like the action and advisory within the committee are sort of active and non-active roles, that Sharon and Brent should be plenty busy with a lot on this one. And particularly Brent, as questions come up, I hope you're going to be a resource for all of us on the building and architecture side of things, where you've got obviously a training and long career in that the rest of us don't have. So it's more of logistics and keeping the group small enough for those meetings than it is not wanting to use everyone's skills as much as possible. Any questions for Janet?
I have a comment, if I could, please.
Yeah.
I was at the, I looked at Tim Kane's website yesterday, and he has an invite button on his website. And I think it might be good to keep in mind once we get to the charrette stage to make sure he has a specific invitation. This infrastructure bill is moving forward quickly, and I think it would be helpful to have public building funding from it somehow, and at least in an energy capacity for trying to get us to a net zero status.
Good point.
And
so maybe that Susan Revere needs to keep that in mind to include Tim. He's local, and I don't know whether any of you know, he used to be on the Richmond Public Library Board. So
that was what I was just getting ready to mention. He holds us close. Okay. Other questions? Anything else for facilities? No. Emily, did you have anything on governance? I'm not sure that there's at this point. No. Okay.
I don't have any updates, and we don't have any imminent recruiting needs, but I did want to just mention that as you start kind of thinking about getting out in the world again, I haven't been doing any networking in 2020. But if you start meeting people, just keep that in the back of your head that we don't have any imminent recruiting needs, but it's always good to have like a list of people to go to if something pops up. And also just want to mention that I hope that when we do when we are able to get together in person and talk about the strategic plan, that we can also talk about what skill gaps we would be looking to fill with potential board members, so that we can also have that in mind when we, make little mental lists of friends and colleagues and friends of friends who we might appeal to join the board in the future.
Excellent. Thank you, Emily. Okay. I don't have anything on the unfinished business list. When I looked at some of this, we are still sort of on hold as far as the strategic plan. We've got a bit of a need to discuss more probably on the post-COVID, how we approach the schools and things. But I think once again, post-COVID on the schools is going to be September almost, because it doesn't look like they're really opening up in any major way during this rest of this semester. I think that's pretty much it. Anyone else have any new business? Let me bring up that. I didn't have anything on unfinished. Anything new? No. Okay. Well, we've covered a lot quickly. I don't have anything else that I wanted to bring up except for next month's meeting is scheduled for April 28th, and it is scheduled as a virtual meeting right now. quick thought on that. Do we want to consider we're having our employees back in the library by that point? A large percentage of the board may even be vaccinated by that point. Should we look at making that as an in-person meeting?
Do we have to decide today?
We do not.
We might
I
need a
agree.
little more time.
I agree, Janet. I think we need to see how the rollout goes, the opening goes, and judge, how that before we make a firm decision. But everybody's excited to get back. I know.
We are. Why don't we
Would you
plan-
consider a dual platform? Those who want to come in, and
We tried it and we didn't like it.
didn't work? Okay.
We had some troubles with the communication on. I think, I mean, it must be possible to do. We had a lot of lag, so that what was going on in the room was not in sync with the people via the Zoom, which I'm not really sure why we had and whether it would happen again.
Well, we didn't know when to talk.
Right. That made it a little bit tricky. I think we're all getting a little better at Zooming and controlling that. So maybe, I think if you do a hybrid meeting, you almost have to have someone handling the people in the room as if we were all on Zoom. So we'll have to figure out how we might do that. But I do think that going forward, say once we go to regular meetings, that we do have to keep that Zoom or at least phone in option for people who, when things come up, that we're all learning that that's sort of a handy tool that we've been able to take advantage of.
The other thing that's really great about this process is we can now broadcast the meetings. So this meeting is being live broadcast over YouTube. So in terms of transparency and being good stewards of our government, this really does some wonderful things. And I hope that we can continue with Zoom, because there may be opportunities when somebody can connect in remotely and we can all meet in person. I don't know what the rules are going to say right now. We're operating in the state under special rules by the governor to utilize Zoom, but it'll be interesting to see how those rules transform after this crisis. I'm hopeful we'll be able to continue in this way, because not that I love being on a screen with you all. I like us to be in person, but there are times when it would be helpful if you could connect by screen.
Sure. Well, let's, as far as next month's meeting, let's set the 19th as a date to make a decision. 19th, 20th, somewhere around there, when we've had 2 weeks or so of the library without being open. And I think that, like I said, the reason I like to look at it is not trying to rush us to anything, but I think that we're more effective when we can sit and work together. And I think that we're expecting our librarians to be in, our library workers to be in. That I don't want them to feel like we are taking our safety to a higher level than their safety, because I don't think any of us intend to do that or are doing that. So I like to set that example when we can. Okay, so we'll decide that as we get closer. Anything else anyone wanted to bring up before?
Could I ask a related topic to that? Scott, maybe could your tech folks kind of investigate these dilemmas about half people on Zoom and half people in person, and maybe perfect a solution to that?
Yeah, it was mainly audio and bandwidth that was causing a problem the last time. And I'm not sure where all the errors came in, but there probably have to be some solutions for us to operate in that way. I mean, maybe there's just one camera in the room. It's the microphones, I think, are the big problem for us. So overcoming that challenge, but we will look into that.
There just has to be a solution, I would think, somehow.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think having each one of us having computers in front of us with Zoom may not have been the ideal. Maybe it's broadcast, put up on the screen, one computer is acting as the Zoom and a microphone in the center of the room. Because I think when we had 10 different microphones on computers, plus it just was too much for the
okay.
But I know I've been on some combined ones that have worked pretty smoothly when they do that type of thing. So.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions, thoughts anyone would like to bring up still?
Yeah, Bill. Hi, this is Laura. How's everybody doing? You can't really take a vote, you know, by April 19th. So I'm not sure.
We don't need to take a vote, I don't think, do we?
No, I mean, if you're just going to sort of get a feel for what people and then you as the chairperson make the decision, that's fine. I just want to make, I just want to make sure we weren't going to be violating FOIA.
I know. No, we won't have a formal meeting to decide. We won't have a formal vote. I will probably touch base with a couple of people and we'll make a decision on it, and we'll keep you happy about that, Lauren.
Thank you.
I'm trying to be careful.
Thank you.
Okay, and I will say that we had the committee meetings, we had an executive committee meeting, we had a finance committee meeting, and a facilities one, and I think all of them went really well being done over Zoom. We had no trouble with the executive one that had to go into closed session. All of those things, I think we managed to both be effective and within the guidelines from FOIA, so we're good. Anyone else? No, okay, I am going to, I don't think we actually call for a vote on adjourning. I think we go ahead and just adjourn the meeting. I look forward to talking to everyone on the 28th, and John will get information out before then about it. Okay, thank you so much.
See everyone later. Happy Easter.
Have a nice
Yeah, happy
afternoon.
Easter. Thank you.